Sean Combs, known as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy or Diddy, has been a towering figure in entertainment for decades. He built an empire, starting with Bad Boy Records, shaping hip-hop and R&B. But this image has been shattered by shocking allegations. Lawsuits detail disturbing accusations, including sexual assault and sex trafficking. Federal agents raided his properties as part of a sex trafficking investigation. A video showing Combs assaulting Cassie Ventura has been a critical turning point, prompting public outcry. Why does this story matter? This case touches upon sensitive issues in our society today. It forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about the systems that protect powerful figures. Now, the severity of the allegations make them impossible to overlook. It feels like a potential turning point. This story is a powerful lens through which we can examine the dynamics of power and abuse. His influence has enabled a pattern of behavior to go unchecked for far too long. The case highlights how power can be used to silence victims. It forces a conversation about the culture of complicity. Ultimately, this is a story about justice. It's about whether our systems can truly hold everyone accountable. This story matters because its outcome will send a powerful message about the kind of world we want to live in. The story began on November 16, 2023. Cassandra Ventura, known as Cassie, filed a lawsuit in New York federal court accusing Sean Combs of horrific abuse. The documents detail disturbing events, alleging rape, physical beatings, and psychological torment. This contrasted their public image. The allegations were shocking. She claimed the abuse began when she was 19 and he was 37. Combs denied the allegations. But in a stunning turn, the lawsuit was settled one day later. The rapid settlement fueled intense public speculation and emboldened others to come forward. Following Cassie Ventura's settlement, the floodgates opened. Her speaking out created space for others to share their alleged experiences with Sean Combs. Lawsuits followed, with similar claims of sexual assault and abuse. One lawsuit accused Combs of gang raping a 17-year-old in a New York recording studio. Another woman claimed Combs subjected her to revenge porn. These lawsuits demonstrated a potential pattern of behavior spanning decades. Companies distanced themselves and Combs stepped down from his media company Revolt. The image of a philanthropist deteriorated, replaced by a troubling story of alleged predation and abuse. The situation escalated to a major federal criminal investigation. Agents conducted raids on Sean Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami. The warrants were reportedly connected to a federal sex trafficking investigation. Then a shocking surveillance video emerged, changing the public perception of the case. CNN aired a surveillance video from a hotel in 2016, showing Sean Combs assaulting Cassie Ventura. The video was brutal and deeply disturbing, providing visual corroboration for Ventura's lawsuit. The release of the hotel video was a watershed moment, eviscerating any remaining doubt. 2 days later, Combs posted an apology on his social media, but for many, the apology rang hollow. When the 2016 surveillance video of Sean Combs assaulting Cassie Ventura surfaced, social media erupted instantly. The hashtag #SurvivingDiddy trended worldwide as millions watched and shared the footage, drawing comparisons to the Me Too movement. The video's raw brutality stripped away any remaining glamour, forcing even Combs' defenders to confront the truth. Celebrities and influencers quickly denounced him, amplifying the outrage and keeping the story in the headlines. Combs' Instagram apology only fueled the backlash, criticized as insincere and self-serving. Social media users dissected every word, noting his failure to mention Cassie and the timing of his statement. The apology became a story itself, proof that in the digital age, public opinion can be swift and unforgiving. The internet's verdict was clear. Combs' reputation was shattered in real time. Inside the music industry, the response was far more muted. Combs' power and influence bred both loyalty and fear, leading many peers to stay silent. This silence spoke volumes, highlighting the industry's tendency to protect its own. A few, like Aubrey O'Day and Lil Rod Jones, broke ranks, sharing stories of a toxic environment. Meanwhile, corporations moved quickly. Combs stepped down from Revolt, lost his honorary degree, and saw partnerships dissolve. The split was stark. While artists hesitated, businesses cut ties to protect their brands. The industry's slow reckoning revealed just how insulated and self-protective it remains. The fallout made clear that even a kingmaker could become untouchable. The scandal became a rallying point for advocates against domestic and sexual violence. Organizations like RAINN and the National Domestic Violence Hotline saw surges in calls, using the moment to educate and support survivors. Activists reframed the case as a systemic issue, not just a celebrity scandal. Protests and vigils demanded justice, while calls for legal reform gained momentum. The case sparked tough conversations within the Black community about accountability and protecting the vulnerable. The outrage was channeled into action, pushing for real change beyond the headlines. The Combs case became a catalyst for broader discussions on power, abuse, and justice. The movement's message was clear: no one is above accountability. For many fans, the allegations shattered decades of admiration for Combs. His music had been the soundtrack to their lives, making the betrayal deeply personal. The debate over separating art from artists split the public. Some deleted his music, others argued for preserving the legacy of collaborators. As more details emerged, defending the art became harder. The case became a cultural litmus test. In a post-Me Too world, talent no longer excuses abuse. The public's response marked a shift. Accountability now outweighs nostalgia. The myth of the untouchable genius is fading, replaced by a demand for justice. The legacy of Sean Combs is forever changed. The Combs scandal struck at the heart of the American dream. Once a symbol of hope and success, his story now feels like a collective betrayal. The allegations forced a painful re-examination of the heroes we celebrate and the values we uphold. Fans felt deceived. Their emotional investment turned to anger and disappointment. The case became a cautionary tale about unchecked ambition and the cost of ignoring character for success. The public outcry is a call to redefine the American dream, demanding integrity, not just achievement. The story of Sean Combs is now a warning. Power without accountability corrupts absolutely. The demand for justice is a demand for a better dream, one built on ethics and respect. At its core, the Sean Combs case is a raw examination of power and the illusion of untouchability. He had immense wealth, a vast network of influential friends, and the resources to silence his critics. The public outcry is a direct challenge to this illusion, asserting that no one, regardless of their status, should be above the law. The details point to an alleged abuse of this immense power. It provides the tools to conceal that corruption for decades. This suggests a system of complicity. They care because it exposes a broken system where privilege can buy silence. Even the most powerful figures can be held accountable in the court of public opinion. Justice should be more powerful than any individual's fame or fortune. The Sean Combs case has ignited a painful conversation within the Black community. For decades, Combs was a symbol of Black excellence and ownership, creating platforms to empower Black artists. This is why the allegations have been so devastating and divisive, forcing a reckoning with racial solidarity. Black women are arguing that protection cannot extend to alleged abusers. True solidarity means protecting the most vulnerable, not the most powerful. It's a debate about what representation truly means, and a demand for a higher standard of leadership. This is a sign of a community grappling for a more just and honest form of empowerment. The massive public outcry over the Sean Combs allegations is a direct legacy of the Me Too movement. The cultural landscape has been fundamentally altered in recent years. We have developed a new language and a deeper understanding of sexual assault and harassment. The movement empowered survivors to speak their truth and taught the public to listen more critically. When Cassie Ventura and other accusers came forward, they did so in a world more prepared to hear them and more inclined to believe them. The wave of support for the accusers is a clear sign that Me Too has taken root in our collective consciousness. People care because this case embodies the very issues that Me Too brought to light: the abuse of power, the silencing of victims, and the demand for accountability. The allegations against Combs fit a pattern that has become tragically familiar. A powerful man in a position of authority allegedly uses his influence to exploit and abuse those dependent on him for their careers. The public's immediate and visceral reaction shows decreased tolerance for the old excuses. The days of dismissing such accusations as words of a disgruntled ex-partner or fame seeker are, for most of the public, over. The default position has shifted towards believing survivors first. The release of the 2016 hotel video was a pivotal moment. While Me Too championed believing survivors without needing proof, this video provided it in the most brutal way. It served as stark validation for every person who has been disbelieved. For many, it was horrifying confirmation of what survivors have been saying for years, that charming public figures can be capable of monstrous acts behind closed doors. The video cut through any ambiguity and mobilized public opinion in a way testimony alone sometimes struggles to do. It made believing women a tangible reality. The voices for justice in the Sean Combs case are an echo of every voice that has spoken out against abuse. The public cares because they see this as part of a larger battle for cultural change. Holding a figure as powerful as Combs accountable feels like a victory for every silent survivor. It sends a message to abusers that their time is up, and offers hope to victims that they will be heard. This case has become a focal point for dismantling systems that protect predators, making the fight for Combs's accusers a fight for justice for all. Watching a video is a first step, but the journey towards justice cannot end there. True change begins when passive consumption turns into active engagement. The first and most crucial action you can take is to continue educating yourself. The next step is to start conversations within your own circles. By simply talking about it, you help to break the stigma and silence. If you're enjoying this video, please like and follow this page and click the notification bell. Finally, take your engagement offline and into your community. Look for local workshops or community meetings that discuss issues of domestic violence or legal reform. One of the most powerful and direct ways to take action is by supporting the organizations that are on the front lines of this battle every single day. Advocacy groups and non-profits dedicated to helping survivors of domestic and sexual abuse are often underfunded and overstretched. They provide essential services like crisis hotlines, emergency shelters, legal aid, and counseling. These organizations do the hard, unglamorous work that helps survivors rebuild their lives. Consider making a financial contribution, no matter how small. A modest donation can help pay for a night in a safe shelter for a victim fleeing abuse or fund a call to a life-saving crisis hotline. If you are not in a position to donate money, you can donate your time and your platform. Your voice is a valuable resource. Use your social media accounts to amplify the work of these incredible organizations. Share their posts, promote their fundraising campaigns, and direct your followers to their resources. You can become a digital advocate, ensuring that crucial information reaches those who need it most. By using your online presence to spread awareness, you help to create a network of support that can have a real-world impact. You can help connect a person in crisis with the help they desperately need, simply by sharing a link or a phone number. Beyond digital amplification, consider volunteering your time and skills. Many local shelters and advocacy groups rely on volunteers to function. You could help with administrative tasks, event organization, or community outreach programs. If you have professional skills in areas like law, marketing, or therapy, you may be able to offer your services on a pro bono basis. Every hour of volunteer work frees up resources for these organizations to focus on providing direct support to survivors. This hands-on involvement is not only immensely helpful to the cause, but can also be a profoundly rewarding experience, connecting you directly to the positive change you wish to see in the world. Furthermore, make a conscious effort to support media and journalism that handle these sensitive topics with integrity and care. Pay for subscriptions to news outlets that conduct in-depth investigations and prioritize survivor-centric reporting. Support independent creators and documentarians who are committed to telling these stories ethically. In a media landscape often driven by clicks and sensationalism, your support for responsible journalism helps ensure that these complex issues are given the nuanced and respectful coverage they deserve. Your consumer choices can help shape a media environment that holds power to account and honors the dignity of survivors. While individual support for survivors and organizations is vital, we must also address the root causes of the problem by demanding systemic change. The Sean Combs case has exposed significant flaws and loopholes in our legal and social systems that must be fixed. It is not enough to hold one man accountable. We must change the systems that allowed his alleged behavior to go unchecked for decades. This means advocating for stronger laws that protect victims and hold perpetrators accountable, regardless of their wealth or status. Your voice as a citizen is a powerful tool for creating this kind of lasting, institutional change. Start by learning about the laws in your region concerning sexual assault and domestic violence. Are the statutes of limitations adequate? Are there sufficient protections for victims who come forward? Contact your elected representatives. your local councillors, your members of parliament, or your congressional representatives. Write them letters, send them emails, or call their offices. Urge them to support and enact legislation that extends the time survivors have to report crimes, strengthens protections against harassment and intimidation, and increases funding for victim support services. Your representatives are elected to serve you, and they need to hear that these issues are a priority for their constituents. Join or support campaigns that are already working towards these goals. Many advocacy groups run organized campaigns to push for specific legal reforms. You can participate by signing petitions, joining peaceful protests, and sharing campaign materials. When thousands of people come together to demand change, it creates political pressure that is difficult for lawmakers to ignore. These collective actions show that there is a broad public mandate for reform. Your participation, whether online or in person, adds to a chorus of voices demanding a justice system that is fair, accessible, and effective for all, not just the privileged few. Finally, we must all work to foster a culture of accountability in our own communities and workplaces. This means refusing to be a bystander to inappropriate behavior. It means challenging sexist jokes and attitudes that contribute to a culture where violence against women is normalized. It means calling for stronger and more transparent policies for handling harassment and abuse allegations in our workplaces and institutions. Cultural change is the foundation upon which legal change is built. By refusing to tolerate complicity and demanding transparency and accountability in our daily lives, we contribute to building a society where power can no longer be used as a shield for abuse. Throughout this story, we've seen the fall of an icon and the rise of voices demanding to be heard. Now, the focus turns to a more personal reflection. This brings us to a crucial question. If you were in either situation, how would you react? Imagine you are a young artist, offered a dream career, but that dream sours, and control turns to abuse. Would you speak out, knowing you could lose everything? Or imagine you are a bystander, witnessing uncomfortable behavior. Do you speak up and risk your career or stay silent? This is the dilemma of complicity, a test of character. It is an invitation for empathy and understanding. The Sean Combs saga marks more than just the downfall of one man. It symbolizes the potential end of an era when the immense power of celebrity could provide a seemingly impenetrable shield against accountability. What we are witnessing is the painful but necessary beginning of a reckoning. The public is now demanding a higher standard. This is a fundamental change in our cultural values. What will be the legacy of Sean Combs and Bad Boy Records? The public outcry suggests that the two can no longer be separated. This case has become a catalyst, accelerating a change that was already underway. It marks the beginning of a new era where transparency is demanded. As we conclude, remember that this story is far from over. The legal proceedings and federal investigation are ongoing. The true test of justice will happen within the legal system. The fight for legal accountability has only just begun. We must not let our outrage fade. The issues raised are not unique and exist in all corners of our society. The real call to action is to use the momentum from this case to fuel a broader movement for change. This case has shown us the immense power of collective action. The digital courtroom has become a vital space for building solidarity. This should inspire us to continue to use our voices to speak out against injustice wherever we see it. Ultimately, the fight for justice is an unfinished one. Let us honor the courage of the survivors by committing ourselves to building a world where everyone is safe, respected, and truly equal before the law.